Harry, what are your thoughts on cured meats? I love them. Any worse or better for us? Thank you. Absolutely not. I mean, cured meats are actually, obviously, if somebody's got something like, some issues, gut issues, um, histamines and, leaky gut and all sorts of things, I don't recommend people consume cured aged meats. I basically consume quite a lot of cured aged meats and I love them, but I don't have a problem. But other people do. But traditionally we didn't, and they're not a problem. And as remember the one that I did about the PUFA stuff with the rats and the actual having bacon, that would have been poor quality bacon as well. Not grass fed or anything like that, but they actually induced cancer in the colon of the rats, and it was only the bacon, yes, the cured processed meat, the bacon that actually was protective. See, that was an experiment where they didn't include any other garbage in there, like seed oils and sugar and all that to confound and basically then blame the bacon for all the deleterious effects that the other shit they put in caused. But bacon on its own, the rat was actually doing better than the other rats in the experiment. Yes. So I don't have a problem with cured meats and all that. I know a lot of people in the low carb, keto, and all that community make a big friggin' fuss about them. But as far as I'm concerned, I say to them, show me the evidence. I can show you a boatload of evidence that basically shows the complete opposite. And as long as I can show and demonstrate studies that actually show the complete opposite, it means you don't have an argument. You've just got an opinion because you don't have science to back you up. Because the only science you've got is highly confounded with seed oils and refined sugars. So what is it? Is it the cured processed meats, or is it the seed oils and the sugars in there that are causing the problem? I would say it is those things, because even in studies when they don't include bacon, but they do include seed oils and refined sugars, we still see the same deleterious effects. So, that is you could actually go from that study and say, we've removed the bacon. Look what happens with those two things in there. Voila. But nobody actually makes that connection. And that's the problem, because they just want to, run an agenda, because they give the rat a sort of like a vegetarian type without seed oils or anything. And they give them the standard sort of diet with a bit of meat and a whole lot of oils, toxic oils and refined sugars, and they say, well, it's the meat in that, and the plant-based one is much healthier. First of all, rats are very hard to get in ketosis, and rats are omnivores, they're not carnivores. So that defeats that. But on the other hand, it actually shows quite clearly that they're just doing bonkers research, a sad diet against a plant-based. Why don't they do their diet against the bacon diet? Yes, let's see the results then. I bet they would be different, but they don't, because they know they've done them. It's a bit like look, let me put it this way. It's a bit like Big Pharma. They do all these experiments. You have to know that if you take a look, World Health Organization, nutritional panel, it's full of vegans and vegetarians. Most of these organizations are full of these people. They've got an agenda, an ideological agenda. And you've heard them. They're prepared to even lie for the animals. They say it openly. I mean, what does it take for people to understand that these people are charlatans and doing junk science, deliberately fabricating? It's the same thing that the statin companies do. What do? They get thousands of people. They give them statins. They say, tell us what the effects were. They find for half the people had an effect, really bad pain and all that. They exclude them, and they take the other amount who basically the genetics, and then they randomize those, and then they basically do the thing, and they go, oh look, slightly lower the anti-inflammatory effect, the short-term anti-inflammatory effect, but all the other deleterious. It's a bit like the vegan diet. When you take out all the garbage and you do like a fasting mimicking diet, you get a benefit for a short term, but then the nutritional stuff kicks in and you actually sort of waste away, and the nutritional deficiencies stuff you up in the long run. Well, it's the same thing with statins. Short term, you get some benefit, two benefits. One, you get stabilized plaque. So if you're on a SAD, diet stabilized plaque can be a good thing by calcifying things. 2, you actually are getting, so you're getting less soft plaque, as it's called. 2, you're actually getting less issues in terms of slight reduction in inflammation. It's a very minor. Aspirin will do the thing, and a lot of other things, lifestyle changes will do even more. So they use that. Yes. Yes, the bacon from, hello, Kitty. Yes, the bacon from Cygnet, Tasmania is the best. That's the stuff that I get. I've shown it on many times on the smoked stuff and all that. I just love that. Ugh. Anyway, let me get away from food. I'm daydreaming about food. I'm seeing bacon in the air. And so really it's just nonsense. And this is how they do their studies. They deliberately take out the groups, and then they massage the figures, and they do these short term. They will never do. If anybody finds a study, a modern study that is a statin study in this era, this period, not in the past, in this period that's 7 years old, I will eat a hat online. It's going to be a hard effort, but I'll do it, because there isn't. They don't do them. The last one that they actually did, 7-year ones, was the LA Veteran Study. And that wasn't even done by the statin companies. It was actually done by the Veterans organizations in the US. And after 7 years, they started noticing those on statins started increasing their cancer rate higher than others. That's when they stopped it. They should have continued. But they said it wasn't ethical. But, why aren't we doing studies, long-term studies, to see the effect of, this is the same thing with vaccines. You're supposed to do 5 to 7 years. Same thing with, but they don't, because they don't want to know. You've got cell turnover, it's about 7 odd years. They don't want to know, because basically that would affect profits. And it's simple as that. So that's the sort of world we live in. We just need to understand that.